Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Murphy. I'm the co-founder of Impactscope. We help digital asset ventures become more sustainable. I'm going to use 1/3 of my 15 minutes today to speak about Impactscope and what we do. And in the remaining 10 minutes, I'll try to give you a very quick overview of lots of other companies working at the intersection of blockchain and climate action, blockchain and social impact, and blockchain and the wider sustainable development goals. According to positiveblockchain.io, there are 945 foundations, companies, ventures at the moment working in the general space we call blockchain for good. I won't have a chance today to go through all 945 of them, but if I move quickly, I hope I can shed some spotlight on 10 or 12 of them. Don't worry about taking notes. You can go to cvc.impactscope.com and download this presentation. It should download automatically. If you're interested in other resources that have lots of other companies in this whole blockchain for good space, I can recommend Crypto Climate Accord, positiveblockchain.io, of course, and Cardano for climate. The Cardano community is doing a lot of great things nowadays to encourage projects with funding and support, working in social enterprise, climate action, etc. So we're Impactscope. We're a mission-driven company. Our main purpose is to help digital asset ventures understand, measure the carbon emissions and the impact of their business operations, and then we provide them with tools to help them compensate for those emissions. Main problem we're trying to address when we started out planning for this venture more than 2 years ago was the enormous carbon emissions of the Bitcoin network. I know this is a very controversial topic for many people, but the Bitcoin network this year alone will require 1% of global electricity to maintain itself. It will consume more electricity than Switzerland in an entire year. Because, unfortunately, more than 60%, if you read some peer-reviewed academic studies on this subject, it'll say more than 70%, of the fuel taken to maintain the Bitcoin network is linked to fossil fuels, coal and oil and gas. Because the Bitcoin network can only handle 5 transactions per second compared to the traditional global financial system, which can handle several million transactions per second, if you divide the total carbon emissions of the Bitcoin network by the actual number of on-chain transactions, the carbon footprint of individual transactions, when you show it in that light, becomes quite scary. One on-chain Bitcoin transaction, doesn't matter whether it's $10 or $10 million, the carbon footprint is the same. It's 1.2 tons, which is the equivalent of a ticket's worth of aviation fuel on a return flight from Zurich to Istanbul. Or it's the same as watching YouTube videos for 22.5 years continuously. Or it's the same as 2.7 million Visa card transactions. So our clients include several European and North American crypto exchanges, NFT marketplaces, crypto mining companies. For the exchanges, the main products and services we provide them are integrated APIs so that they can plug in those tools to their back ends and their front ends, and then their clients have the opportunity to offset the carbon emissions of their crypto trades in real time. So the technology we attempt to replicate with that is what many of you are probably familiar with when you buy an air ticket and you come to the last page of the checkout and you have an option to tick a box and add on a few dollars to compensate for the emissions of your flight. For mining companies and institutional investors, we have a number of tools as well. For mining companies, we have developed internal methodologies working with global experts on the carbon emissions of various public blockchains. So for mining companies, they give us the data about their ASICs, make, model, their locations, their electricity bills, and then we do our magic and we produce a complete and detailed historical report on their carbon footprint. For institutional investors, we have also methodologies where we can calculate the historical carbon footprint of any institutional crypto investor's treasury. We also have free versions of these tools on our website. You can go to impactscope.com and you can press the button Calculate Now. You can enter any public Bitcoin address, Ethereum address, and it will calculate the historical lifetime carbon footprint of that public wallet, up to 10,000 transactions. So that's enough about Impactscope for a while. I'd like to use my remaining, how many minutes do I have remaining? How many minutes do I have left? 9 minutes, perfect, good timing. So hopefully in 9 minutes I can shed a spotlight on maybe 10 or 15 other companies in this general intersection of blockchain and sustainable development goals. The first category of companies I've put together, because I personally find them interesting, are types of companies that want to channel certain amounts of yield or staking rewards to support social impact projects. So as we know right now, for the last 3 years, staking and yield farming have become huge in the whole crypto space. So let's do some mathematics. Even in this current bear market right now, there's over $100 billion total value locked across various staking protocols. Can we imagine if, let's say, the APY of that is average 5%, and I'm being simplistic here, but let's suppose for a second that 2% of stakers have some altruistic DNA in their bodies, and they would be willing to channel, let's say, a quarter of their staking rewards to social enterprises, to charities, to good causes. Those numbers alone would free up $25 million to go to good causes just through diverting a small amount of staking rewards. There are various companies building products around this. Popcorn Finance is one of them. Social Impact Network is another. So building applications to help stakers divert a certain amount of their staking rewards to good causes. Angel Protocol took this one step further, an ingenious model, but unfortunately with disastrous results. Angel Protocol came to prominence when some stable coins were offering about 20% a year in their yield. I'm specifically talking about Terra UST, the Terra Luna linked stable coin. Angel Protocol built an endowment management protocol on top of Terra Luna. They basically said to charities and charity pools, you don't have to use your principal to finance the charitable causes. Put it to work on Anchor, and the 20% you get can be used to finance your the charities. Unfortunately, version 1 of Angel Protocol blew up when Terra Luna when the UST stablecoin lost its peg a few weeks ago. It's still worth keeping an eye on because the team behind it is very good. They have some good ideas. I've no doubt that they will resurrect themselves with better mechanisms and perhaps stablecoin insurance as well. Silta Finance is building systems for on-chain collateral to finance, to provide debt finance for ESG and impact projects. There's also a built-in DAO where their token holders can vote on which projects can access that liquidity. Impactscope, I'll mention it one more time again, we're also playing around with various staking mechanisms where stakers can stake any coin that's stakeable, and the token, their rewards go to their selected project. At the moment, we're testing with direct air capture, plastic recycling. What we're trying to work on is we're giving the stakers a dynamic proof of impact NFT reward. So what does dynamic proof of impact NFT mean? Well, it's dynamic because the impact metrics are connected to a real-world oracle. So the NFT in real time will show the actual impact depending on which projects the staker selected. So the amount of trees planted, the amount of carbon sequestered, the amount of cook stoves distributed, the amount of jobs created, etc. Retrieve, another one, a great product, not a staking product. This is a distributed payment system, a payment protocol that allocates 1/3 of the network fees to social impact projects. The fees are not taken from the user, they're taken from the merchant commissions. Giveth.io, another great company in this space. People behind it are very talented impact tokenomics engineers, and they've built an entire community and a token model around giving. So their Give token, you can earn Give by staking, by providing liquidity to impact projects. You can earn tokens by vetting and verifying impact projects. So I think Giveth.io is one of the best practices out there if anyone's looking to find more information about charitable DAOs, for example, and how to structure them. Next category, regenerative finance, or refi, which is becoming a cool catchphrase and hashtag on various social media. It's an umbrella term to cover any Web3 tools and smart contracts that aid regenerative finance in terms of circular economy, tokenization of carbon assets, etc. One company, I'm going to speed up a little bit here because I'm a little behind schedule, my fault. Toucan Protocol. Toucan Protocol has built a bridge from the Vera carbon offset registry, which is one of the largest centralized registries of carbon offsetting projects, of which there are hundreds in the world. The Vera registry shows all the serial numbers, the amount of credits issued, who issued them, who bought them, who transferred them, who retired them. Toucan is taking all of this information and basically tokenizing it in order to tokenize the credits themselves and make them more liquid for digital asset ventures. One company taking advantage of this is Moss.Earth. Moss.Earth, a Brazilian company. They're one of the largest sellers of tokenized carbon offsets in the world right now. They mobilized over $30 million in carbon offsets in the Amazon in particular in the last year and a half. Their main token is also listed on Gemini and Coinbase. Regen Network is one of the original refi companies. They have their own registry. They have their own ledger built on Cosmos SDK. They specialize in soil sequestration, and they also have a generous grant program. They recently distributed $1.5 million to over 40 applications building on Regen Network. The last section I have time for, plastics recycling. It's great to see so many new blockchain companies coming up with incentive models and tracking models specifically for the plastics and recycling industry. Plastics.io has a verification token that they turn into a sponsorship agreement with companies that you can basically sponsor and get, and the token is used to track various plastic recycling endeavors. Empower.eco, they focus on putting a value on recycled plastic. Around the world, there are thousands of independent plastic recycling businesses, but they don't all use the same methodologies to track and trace the entire chain from collection of plastic to cleaning to sorting to recycling. Empower provides a set of tools and formats and basically a rigorous reporting system for all of this. The more transparent, as Ella said herself, the more transparent a supply chain is, the end product has a higher value. This is also true in this case. Empower has built a recurring subscription model around this for companies. It's starting at $200. You can basically contribute to the recycling or removing, rather, of 400 kilograms of plastic a month. And all of this is tracked, traced, verified on the blockchain with the invoices and the photos. And speaking of photos, this is the last one I have time for. This is Open Litter Map and Litter Coin. Open Litter Map is based on the original open source OpenStreetMap application. This Irish company, also run by a guy called Sean Lynch, came up with a behavior change incentivizing token model called Litter Coin. Basically, you upload photographs of you collecting litter and disposing of it, and then you're rewarded with litter coin tokens. They're just starting off right now. They haven't really got their whole tokenomics model ready yet. So what will you do with the token? What can you use it for? Can you stake it? Can you spend it, etc.? But it's one to keep an eye on. So, again, the presentation can be downloaded here, and here are the other, some other sources for information. One last thing I wanted to say is that I know a lot of you here are already members of Crypto Valley Association, and some of you are probably considering joining. If you do join and you're here today, I presume you have an interest in sustainability. So I would say, please try to join the Sustainability Working Group. We only formed a few months ago. We try to meet twice a week online. We try to invite guests to some of our sessions who are working in this space. So if you'd like more information, please feel free to come and contact me or Chris or Carmen. Carmen is over there. She can help you as well, and Maya as well. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean.